Hello everybody, this is Douglas Block from sunny Portland, Oregon on April 25th, 2018. Well, we did it. We set a record yesterday, 80 degrees on the 24th, and today it's going to be 84. Another record for this day, so there you have it. This is why I live in the West Coast, and this is why I live in Portland. Let me just check the weather out on my Apple Watch. It's already 71 degrees. Anyhow, Brooks Nichols, hey, I haven't seen you before. Hello, nice to see you. Anyway, I'm doing this live chat at great, what's the word? I got cellulitis, which is an inflammation of the soft tissue on Monday night. It's been a recurring disorder in my life. I've had it 17 times, can you believe it, in 22 years. So right now my left lower leg is in pain. I can hardly walk, but you know what they say, the show must go on. So my energy's pretty low, so I'll try to, you talked to me on the phone. Wow, when was that, Brooks? How long ago? This just shows what happens when you've got too much stress. Your memory dips a little bit. Anyway, here I am, pain and all, and hope that this hour we can have some good conversation, some good discussion, and some good back and forth information. Also hoping that you guys can be online and support each other. So we begin with a joke, do we not? Laugh out loud joke for kids, given to me by a 5-year-old the other day. What did we talk about, Brooks? Oh, I know, now I remember, right. You're in California, thank you for the reminder. Bearwood Carpenter, another new viewer to live chat. Hey Douglas, I just settled down for a mope. You came on, I'm very low at the moment. Well, join the club. This will lighten you up. Do you like math? Bearwood capacity? What about you two, Brooks? Well, here it is. What is my math teacher's favorite dessert? What do you think my math teacher's favorite dessert is? Pie. That's pi, by the way. The circumference, the ratio between the circumference of a circle and its diameter, 3.14159, etc. Irrational number. What did the lumberjack say to the tree? What did the lumberjack say to the tree? I have an axe to grind with you. That'll get me out of my bad mood, won't it? So, how you been doing, you guys? I'm glad you like that, Bearwood Company. Hey, so, carpentry, sorry about that. So, how'd you find out about the live chat? Do you subscribe to my channel? You really should go to the subscribe homepage. And, by the way, you can hear me okay, right? I have this weird thing that says, it's just, yeah, there's something coming up on my screen that says not mute, so that's good. I'm going to try to move this down and cover it up. That's better. Okay, now I won't be distracted. How long does major depression last? Well, it depends on the person. The one thing I'm going to tell you is that it is self-limiting. It does go on forever. That being said, it can go away in 3 months, and then it could be, over a year. But I don't want to give you any, plant any seeds in your mind, expectations, because, expectation can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, Brooke, you just take it a day at a time, do the things we tell you to do on this channel or suggest that we do, and you will get better. Holly Davison, as depression heals, does anxiety heals? Well, absolutely. I have found, Holly, that all of my major depressive episodes had anxiety with them, and when the depression cleared up, the anxiety also cleared up. So, yes, that's an excellent question. Oh, you got here through Noah? Great. Noah's doing better, I hear. He's been clean and sober for about 2 weeks now. Excellent for him. Hey, Swiss Heart, when am I going to get your lavender oil, for heaven's sakes? I need it. Can you repeat? What do you want me to repeat, Brooks Nichols? Lazy Eye Ranch, I'm a new subscriber. So glad I found you. I've had depression all of my life, but since menopause started, it's become much worse. I'm sorry to hear that. Do you exercise, Lazy Eye Ranch or Lazy One Ranch? That's my go-to. I can't exercise now because I can't walk. By the way, your health is your wealth. I'm going to type that out right here. Really, when you lose hey, Oliver Claude, I still need to get you your ebook. I'm sorry, I've been sick. Anyway, here what we're going to say. Your health is your wealth. Remember that. And by health, I mean mental health, physical health, emotional and spiritual health. Man, what do we have except our state of mind? That's the most important thing there is. You could lift weights. Are you referring to me, Oliver? Oh, I see, the exercise. Thank you. Very good. Yes, I have a weight machine in the back room. I was going to do that after live chat. Oliver McLeod, you're a psychic. Ravindra Partey, you must be from India. How to take decision in depression. I'm not quite sure what you mean, but when you are depressed, it is very hard to make a decision. You're very confused, and it can be really, really difficult. So, yeah. You're new, Nancy D. Wow, all these new people here. Brooks, tell me again what you want to repeat me to repeat, and I will. How about one more joke from the kids' joke book? And I'm sorry, I like bad puns. What can I tell you? Who made the fish's wishes come true? It's fairy godmother. Where do pigs go for a rest? To their hammock. All right, there you have it. 4 bad puns within 3 minutes, the record. Brooks, yeah, your major depression will resolve. Remember I said, I can't tell you how long, but it will. How long in the past? Well, mine have usually been, 9 months. But Daniel Pate, oh my God, you're always occupied during this time of the day with your the people you're taking care of. Well, God bless you, and send me some text. What can I tell you? So Brooks, that answer your question? It's self-limiting, and what are you doing right now for it? Are you taking medication? Are you seeing counseling? Are you exercising? Are you making sure you connect with people? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you having the right type of diet? I mean, all of this stuff is so important to your getting better. So, Brooke, if you really want to know what I know about how to get better, here's the book, Healing from Depression, 12 Weeks to a Better Mood. Let's do it this way. Yeah, I can't see myself this way. Anyway, 12 Weeks to a Better Mood, Healing from Depression. Published it about 18 years ago, and it has really got everything I know about depression and anxiety. Last time we were on live chat, one of you guys became a patron. I have 80. I'm shooting for 100. So Patreon is a crowdfunding website I've created to help support these videos. I have to pay my videographers first to film them, then to edit them. And of course, I have other expenses incurred in my website, healingfromdepression.com. So this has been a big help. Just started sleeping because my anxiety was so bad. Well, hopefully is it that. Can you get some sleep, Brooke? Roger Dodger, yes. You should make any decisions during depression. Well, you can make small decisions, Roger Dodger, but not major ones. Anyway, I'm gonna do my Patreon address right here. That's how you get to my Patreon site, where for as little as $2 a month, you can become a contributor to the station. Can stress and depression worsen vision? I've never heard of that, Stoic and Decursion. Another new person, wow. I've never heard that. But, stress can do many things to the body. It can harm and make and disable or partially disable any of the major systems in the body, circulatory, respiratory, immune, etc. So the visual system, nothing is impossible. You should go to your ophthalmologist or your optometrist and tell them what's going on. Have them check your vision to make sure it's really worsening. Sometimes when we're depressed, we can have symptoms that we imagine. So, all right. Yeah, I agree with you. Where are our regular people? All the people from the UK, Claire, and also David Starkweather from Connecticut, and Cade and Arcade Cup, and all these people I'm familiar with. But it's good to have new people in the chat. Seriously. I'm going to move around here. This is not a very comfortable chair. I should have gotten the other chair from the living room. Anyway, good news. Bruce the cat is feeling better. On Monday, we took him into the vet, paid a ton of money to get all these diagnostic tests, and they found that he was basically healthy, and 2 days later, he starts eating again. So that was scary. He is 10 years old. Can major episodes last years? I don't think so. Well, it can. I've heard reports, but the majority of them I just read some statistics. The majority of them are clear up in less than 9 months. And you know, they did this interesting study at the National Health Center over in Great Britain, where they had people waiting to see somebody, because you have to wait to see people in the Great Britain, and the National Health System, the NHS is what it's called. Anyway, they found that within 2 months, about 20% of the people's symptoms have cleared up just in the waiting process to see somebody. So, as I say, depression does get better. Now, Harry Matrusty, there you are, an old timer. Do you know John Nash made a full recovery from paranoid schizophrenia? I certainly do. The Oscar-winning film, It's a Beautiful Mind, showed that, and also the book that it came out of. Yes, it took him about 30 years to do so, but he made a full recovery. It burned itself out, and oftentimes schizophrenia, when people get into their 50s and 60s, the symptoms do remit. But boy, it is a disabling condition. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. You can't connect with people, Ravinda. Well, that often happens when people are depressed. They withdraw, they isolate. And one of the 5 things you should not do when you're depressed is to isolate. So if you find yourself doing that, get in touch with a therapist and find some strategies you can get out of that. Or if you have a good friend or a partner or a wife, husband, parent, pick up the phone and give them a call. Kate, I was just mentioning your name. You are here. It's 5 a.m. I'm in bed listening to you. Wait. Where do you live? It's 5 a.m. Where is it 5 a.m.? That means you would have to be 12, 17 hours ahead. You must be in Australia or something. A bit down, but it's good right here. I'm just going to listen today. Not good to hear about your leg. Yeah, it's very serious. I mean, I'm going to see the doctor. It's gotten better before, but it really gets me in touch with my mortality. My roommate died of cellulitis, so it's not a thing to be trifled with. Nancy D. Anyway, are you in Australia, Kate? Hi, Matrusty. What do you think of Robert Whitaker or Peter Bregan? I don't like Peter Bregan. He categorically says that all psychiatrists bad. I think he's fringe. Robert Whitaker, on the other hand, wrote a book called Anatomy of an Epidemic, where he talked about the overprescription of antidepressants in America. He's a reporter, graduated from Harvard. I think he's quite credible. I've actually talked with him, and I write for his blog, Mad in America. So yeah, I think he does believe that antidepressants have their place. They're just overused, and I would agree with that. Oliver McLeod says, do you think part of depression is the waiting around for it to go on to make changes? Well, a watch pot never boils, of course. So if you're waiting for it to get better, it will worsen it. The idea is to be an active participant in your recovery. That's what I teach in my lectures, my groups, in my YouTube videos, my depression website, and Healing from Depression. Hey, it says 1 people watching. No, there's 21, Arcade Cup. Oh, you got a new bike. Excellent. And I was wondering where you were, from Green Bay. It's 84 degrees in Portland today and sunny. What's it like in Green Bay? Can you ride your bike? What's the brand name? Is it Specialized? Is it a road bike? I hope. Brooks Nichols says, does depression trigger anxiety? Yeah, oftentimes depressive episodes have anxiety as a secondary symptom. I did. I had something called agitated depression. Brooke, right here, if you go on my website, I think you can get this for $5.99 when going through Hell Don't Stop. The ebook, it talks about my depressive episode in 1996-97, where I was depressed and anxious at the same time. Can I get a piece of gum here? Do you have a weekly group? I have 2 weekly groups. One at 6:30 on Monday, one at 6:30 on Tuesday. But you're in La Honda, and I'm in Portland, Oregon. So the only thing you could do is you could come here weekly, or you could work with me one-on-one long distance. But I do have 2 weekly groups. Sydney, Australia. I was right. Hey, Jeffrey. Nice to hear from you. Hello, Lazar Maria. Nice to see you. Oh, yeah, now the old timers are coming. The Christio. Have you ever felt inner peace? Absolutely. After my second book was accepted for publishing, my co-author and I, Dimitri George, sat on a hill overlooking the Pacific Ocean, just south of Newport, Oregon. And we were just feeling the peace of knowing we had a book published and looking at the waves. It was a 70-degree afternoon in June, 1986, probably before a lot of you were born. And it was a glorious day. Yes, I have felt inner peace moments, not really sustained for long periods of time. Well, Jaime Trusty says, well, I was reading about 50-60% of schizophrenia make full recoveries if they don't take medications. How about the antipsychotics? Are they literally zombies? No, my godson takes Depakote. Well, that's a mood stabilizer. He takes a little bit of Abilify. I know a lot of people take Abilify in small doses for depression, so no. But you're right. High doses of antipsychotics do make people can make certain people feel like a wet blanket is thrown over their head. Things are very foggy. They can't think as clearly. But sometimes that cost is worth the benefit, which means they're not hearing voices or, having major paranoia or delusion. So it's always a trade-off. Antipsychotics are always a trade-off, and that's something that the person and their psychiatrist needs to work through. Greetings from Gettysburg, Jeffrey Chavey. No, we haven't heard from you before. I had a new man named Jeffrey join my support group last night. I'm being surrounded by Jeffreys. When depression leaves, does the anxiety leave it as well? In many, many cases, yes. Unless you have a specific anxiety disorder like generalized anxiety disorder or social anxiety or obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, those can exist without depression. Thoughts on CBD vaping make sleep at 7 p.m.? I didn't realize you could vape CBD oil. For those of you who don't know, CBD is the part of the hemp plant, the marijuana plant, but it doesn't have any THC, so it's not psychoactive. So if you take it, you won't get stoned. But it was first used in Colorado to help a young girl, 3 years old, who had seizures. So it's an anti-seizure, and it seems to help some people with anxiety, actually many people. So yeah, I'm sure it would help with anxiety. I guess to vape it, you make it into a mist, I'm guessing. So yeah, it's also legal. That helps. You can get it over the internet. Lebanon #1 from Germany. Hey, nice to see you one more time. I'm going to look at my other joke book. Here's one of my favorites. I wondered why the ball was getting bigger, and then it hit me. All right, Harry Trusty. No one has mentioned about the volume. My videographer said it was too low last time. How is it now? Is it good? I agree, in acute psychosis, antipsychotics seem okay, but long-term they create super psychosis, sensitivity, neurological damage, and chronic disability. Well, you're probably right. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I can't completely comment on that, but I know they are usually better in acute situations. But Harry, what if someone is schizophrenic and they try to go off their antipsychotics and their symptoms return again? Then what do you say to them? You like to smile at the end, yes. Your OC didn't start until you got depressed? No, no, are you kidding me? Brooks Nichols, you're right, because when you get depressed, you ruminate and you turn things over and over and over in your mind, and that's a kind of form of obsession. That happened with me during all my depressions. I thought it was kind of lame. What does a clock do when it's hungry? Well, it goes back for seconds. Okay? Jokes about German sausages are the absolute worst. That's W-U-R-S-T. Stoic and Nucoser, you were here on Sunday. Can social anxiety be caused by an isolated life since childhood? Absolutely. And is it connected with negative social experiences? It certainly can be. Have I seen Broken Wings by Daniel Mackler? No, what is it? Should I watch it? I'm supposed to have a pen here. I do. Excellent. It's called Broken Wings. Holly Davidson says she's in the second week on Zoloft. Well, how are you doing so far? So, what is Broken Wings about? Where is that name? I'm trying to write it down. Mackler. Okay, Broken Wings is excellent. What is it about, you guys? So Holly Davidson says, after coming off Paxil that I was on for 18 years after. Okay. Well, Zoloft and Paxil are very similar, so you shouldn't feel that much of a difference between the two of them. Brarewood Carpentry. I have a CDO, it's like OCD, but all the letters are in alphabetical order as they should be. I like it. Thank you. CDO, I'll remember that. Anyway, no one's telling me what Broken Wings is about. I'm disappointed. Oh, Robert Whittaker's in it, so it's a documentary. What's it about, Harry Matrusty? Oh, these two schizophrenics who made full recoveries. Oh, that's lovely. I'm gonna recommend that to my godson. Maybe we'll watch it together. How long does it last, my friend? What did the wall say to the ceiling? I'll meet you at the corner. Haha. Very good. I like it. Well, you know when depression leaves, of course, Brooks Nichols, when depression leaves, you'll feel like a person again. You'll be able to feel joy. You'll have more energy. The future will look bright as opposed to dull and horrible. So how long is this documentary? Can you get, and where do you get it? Can you watch it on YouTube or do you have to get the DVD? It was motivation. Well, I'll look it up. But did you see it on YouTube, Harry Matrusty? That's what I want to know. Lebanon 1. Today I had my first therapy session. It felt weird. Really weird. Telling a stranger all these personal things. Yeah, but keep it up. If you like that stranger will become a good friend and an ally. And that is something. See, your therapist is objective, Lebanon 1. That means if you go to your parents or you go to your friends or your girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend, they're going to have their own personal axe to grind or their own personal bias. But the therapist is completely neutral. They can be objective. And also they have skills in psychology to help you, manage your own depression, your own feelings. A very, very valuable thing to do. Holly Davidson, so Zoloft may be too similar to work? No. My brother was on, Zoloft and Prozac are almost completely identical. My brother was on Prozac, it stopped working, then he went on Zoloft and it worked. So what can I tell you? No. The reactions to antidepressants are so idiosyncratic, so individualized, that you don't know anything until you take the drug. So do not think that the Zoloft won't work. Just take it and see what happens. Nancy D, it's hard for me to find a good therapist. Well, where do you live, Nancy D? Tell me, what part of the country? If you live in America, you can type in psychology today, find a therapist, and you'll find one. You will get used to living on one. You've only met the therapist once. When I went to my men's group, the first 2 months I felt like completely alienated, and then it became a place I always wanted to be. Okay, so what was I going to type in? Something. Oh. So, Nancy, I think it's only in America, but type this in Google, okay? Type that in, psychology, I find a therapist. You're in West Canada. Well, damn. Type that in anyway. Maybe you'll find, maybe they've got somebody in Canada. Bearwood Carpentry, thank you for the chatting to go now. Well, Bearwood Carpentry, where do you live? I'll be back on the air at noon Sunday Pacific Standard Time, Pacific Daylight Time in Portland, Oregon. Does depression alter the mind? Yeah, during the time you're depressed, it definitely alters the mind. That's what's so horrible about it. Yeah, Nancy, I don't know if that'll work in Canada, but see if you can find some of the resources in Canada. Like, go type in psychotherapist West Canada or the city you're living in, and something will come up. The internet is an amazing place to do research. Bada bing! You've been here before. 36-7-year-old male, chronically ill for 7 years now. Because of this, I can't do the things that help lift my mood, like exercise. I'm house, bedbound. Don't know what to do anymore. Well, I'm in the same place, but mine is only for 2 or 3 weeks. So my heart goes out to you. Well, can you lift weights? Can your arms move? Can you at least do what's called the breath of fire? I didn't know what yes was. What did you answer yes to, Bada Bing? I don't quite know. I'm sorry, but repeat my question and answer it so I know what the response was. Anyway, you can lift weights. You can do some rapid breathing. Breathe through your nose and take in your stomach. Pull in your stomach while you're breathing. It's called breath of fire. Look it up on the internet. That'll get your blood flowing. Yeah, no, you've been here before on the live chat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I know I've seen you. But, okay, so tell me, can you move your arms? What can you do in terms of physical mobility? You can also do all the other things like watching funny comedies or calling people or inviting people over, getting involved in something like art, you know, that really gets your mind going, or Sudoku or something that occupies you. Maybe you could do volunteer work over the phone, make calls for whomever. In other words, find a way to keep yourself occupied and give yourself a sense of purpose. That is what is really, really helpful. Testing 1, 2, still testing the sound, okay? So, yes, Brooks, depression sometimes makes you feel guilty. You look back and you regret things you do, you ruminate about the past. Try not to do that. So, I did a video that came on Monday, 2 days ago. I want you guys all to see it. 5 things not to do when you are anxious. There you have it. Look at that video. You do beat yourself up for the smallest things, Nancy. Yeah, well, that's what people with depression do. I have another video called Learn to Forgive Yourself. You have to kind of realize that you're doing the best you can. That's one of the best things to tell yourself. I'm doing the best I can. Oh, you get tachycardia? Bada Bing, has that been diagnosed? Do you have a diagnosis of tachycardia? If so, go to your cardiologist, ask him what kind of exercise is safe. And antidepressants don't have to be a bad thing. If you essentially go ahead and you start in small doses, microdoses. So if they prescribe 10 milligrams of Prozac, take 5. No, they can be beneficial for some people, not for most people, but they can be for some. As long as you start in really tiny doses, I think you're going to be safe. What are you afraid of in terms of Bada Bing? What are you, I don't know what again a yes was. When you say yes, Bada Bing, tell me what you're answering. But anyway, yes, if you go to a cardiologist, and if you do have tachycardia, ask what you can do that will be safe, and then do it. Maybe lifting some hand weights like this. Maybe you can do that. So what about taking antidepressants scares you? I'd like to know that. For those of you who think you're not going to get well, this is sent to me by one of the listeners, Julie Hayes. Says, thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge. My pleasure, Julie. She made this. What does this say? From the ashes I rise, the phoenix. One of my favorite symbols of all time. You know about the phoenix, live 500 years. When it came to die, it burned itself in a funeral pyre. Burned up, only ashes left, and then suddenly, oh, thank you, Arcade Cup, 99 cents. Hey, the thought that counts. Appreciate it. Arcade Cup from Green Bay, Wisconsin. What's the weather like, and have you been on your new bike yet? Anyway, so the phoenix would live for 500 years, died, and then it rose from its ashes to live again. You know what Lawrence Vanderpost said, the great journalist? The depth of darkness to which you can descend and still lives is an exact measure of the heights which you can aspire to reach. Well, maybe I should do it this way. Yeah, that's why I tell people what goes down must come up. The opposite of Newton's law of gravity. Live on one. Honestly, a very good advice I can give someone who's depressed is cutting out every kind of pornographic material. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, well, a lot of people suffer with addiction to pornography more than you realize. You know, here's the problem. Doing anything like that gets the dopamine, the pleasure chemicals up for the time being, but then what goes up must come down and you crash. You know, it's also not good to objectify other human beings, whether they're women or men. It's just really, I think it's sort of a violation of their spiritual essence. But, you know, I'm not going to condemn anybody, but I do think that is not a very skillful way to treat depression. So yeah, I would agree with you, living on one, although I don't know too many people with depression who suffer from that or do that, but maybe I'm being naive. 31 minutes after the hour, we're going to end a little early today because I'm feeling myself getting really tired. I'm still quite sick. I'm going to take a lift to my internist today at 3 p.m. That's in about 2.5 hours. Get checked over, make sure I don't have to get any intravenous injections or go in the hospital. I'm telling you, cellulitis is a very serious thing. If any of you ever get it, get right to your doctor, get on antibiotics. This is not something to be messed with herbs or echinacea or, you know, tea. You need to get this treated with strong medicine. Lazy One Ranch, yeah, I'm sorry about your loss with your husband, but loneliness is the worst. I'm going to do a video on it. But where do you live, Lazy One Ranch? There are meetup groups. If you contact nami.org, there are support groups all over America that they run. Yes, the morning is hard, Brooks Nichols. Yeah, they have anxious and low self-esteem because of movies like that. Are you talking about what? Who was the one who said, "Stay away from this to avoid depression"? Yeah. So, Lazy One Ranch, go to this website. Whoops. www.nami.org. Go to that website and Lazy One Ranch and go look up in the menu where it says Find Support and then click on the state. You'll find the local NAMI branch and they will tell you their schedule support groups. I couldn't find a support group in Paris? Really? A civilized country with France? Come on, there must be something out there. What about a meetup group? Meetup groups are in all countries in all parts of the world. Go to www.meetup.com. And there you have it. Try that. And again, anybody who wants Lazy One Ranch, I really rarely leave the house. I don't work because I have painful disorder called trigeminal neuralgia. Isn't that where you have this pain in your face? One of my doctor friends had it. It's horrible. Well, your ex-husband is a retard. I'm sorry, Lazy One Ranch. I'm glad he's your ex-husband. Anybody who makes comments like that is really has no empathy. So you should be glad you're not around someone with that negative. You need to be around people who support you and care about you and love you. Do you have any animals? Oh, you do have animals. That's right. You mentioned that. Well, there are people who are compassionate. I know they exist. There's a chat room that you can go to, and you need to email this guy. He used to be on here much more frequently. His name is Greg, and his email is helloimgreg@gmail.com. And if you email him, tell him I sent you. He has an online support group using an app called Messenger, and anybody can join that and go on and schmooze with people. So you don't even have to leave the house to do that. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, Lazy One Ranch. Yeah, trigeminal. I thought trigeminal neuralgia could be treated. Have you ever tried acupuncture? That can deal with all sorts of pain, and it can realign the nervous system. I'm really a great believer in acupuncture. All right, so some of you have been fans of this live chat. and you want to basically allow it to keep going, I, of course, do this for free, but it's my mission. But I do have to pay my bills and the people who film the videos for me. So check this out. As I say, you can make a $2 contribution and you'll be on your way. Okay. Lazy Ranch 1 says, I don't take that stuff personally. Oh, Lebanon says to Lazy One Ranch, don't take that stuff personally. Please don't. When I was 16, even my mother told me to just do that. Often you don't know how much you're suffering. Yeah, that's compassion is so important. Yes, Swiss Heart, go baby. Swiss Heart, I think, was ordained as a minister or something. He's a very compassionate person. You know what? Lazy One Ranch, you should basically, if you want to, give out your email address or ask people to text you or call you. A lot of people on this video chat right now would be, I'm sure, glad to reach out and talk to you over the phone or send you a text and give you some support. Everybody in this chat is in the habit of supporting each other, so I think it's a great thing. Well, a call coming in from Asbury Park, New Jersey. I know where that is. Anybody from New Jersey here? Raise your hand. Probably nobody. I grew up in New York, right across the Hudson River. Anyway, thank you, Swiss Heart, for your compassionate response. So, Lazy One Ranch, my ex almost convinced me. 15 years with that creep has really taken a lot from me. I used to be an artist, but stopped years ago. Well, don't listen to him. Hey, Lazy One Ranch, you need to find a therapist. You need to program your mind to start believing in yourself. You can find one wherever you're located. Where are you located, by the way? There's also something called Feel Better Counseling. They charge you, of course, but it's not that much, and you get counseling over the internet. I mean, they have really good people there. I think this is it. It's called Feel. Okay, so I need to type this in again. Hold on for a second. Something like that. Go type that in the internet, Lazy One Ranch. Get a therapist online if you can't get one. Also, I have a 12-week coaching plan that I offer to people, one-on-one, just me over the phone, long distance. Oliver McLeod says, I actually think that depression is a forced path to compassion. Very good. When I came out of my depressive episode in 1997, I felt myself to be much more compassionate and sensitive to people's pain. For yourself, that is, of course. Compassion for yourself. Oliver, you're a wise person. Rasmus A., hello from Estonia. I'm late. One question, Doug, is my depression being kept on grounds is proved by evidence? It seems like more and more it's a myth spread by pharmaceutical companies and media. Well, you should get a book, Rasmus A. This is a book called the UPWARD. It's called The Upward Spiral. And that talks about there's something malfunctioning in the brain when you're depressed. There's no question about it. The hypothalamus is out. And yeah, I think there is something going on in brain chemistry, but it's not as simplistic as the drug companies would make you believe. It's not just serotonin deficiency. Some people think that brain cells are actually dying, and if you exercise, you can have neurogenesis and replace them. Brooks Nichols says, how can I buy my book, Healing from Depression? You made it to live. Linda Stokes, you just did a very nice comment in one of my videos. Thank you. Brooks. So here's the book, Healing from Depression, 12 Weeks to a Better Mood by Douglas Block. You're in California, I believe, 760, somewhere maybe Southern California. Go call up a local Barnes & Nobles and order it, or unfortunately you can give Amazon.com all your business like everybody else, Go to Amazon.com, put in Douglas Block Depression, and it'll come right up. I think you can get it for them for about 15 bucks. Nice to see you, Linda. Arlene, Montreal, haven't seen you before. I've been following you for weeks. Can't tell you how grateful for you do. Thank you. You're more than welcome. You might want to become a Patreon supporter. Again, at the risk of sounding repetitious, just go to this website, patreon.com, and go ahead and just type in Douglas Block Depression. I'll pipe right up. It's a crowdfunding site that helps me make these videos and do these YouTube live chats. Anyway, I'm glad that Anna, that you're being helped, or Arlene, excuse me, that you're being helped. I have over 300 videos. Pick your choice. Take your choice. Is it necessary to take antidepressants? I'm scared to take them. Well, not necessary, but for some people they can be helpful. Tell me what you're scared of, Nancy D. Give me a call. Let me know what you're scared of. The side effects usually go away. Just start in very, very low doses. Seriously. Probably the worst that will happen is that it just won't work. They do have side effects. Some of them are annoying, some of them are more serious, but you can always stop them at any time. Lazy Land says, I live in a beautiful place. I'm off the grid on a mountain in Southern California in the wilderness. 100% solar and wind electric? Wow. I wish I had a friend who likes living here. Well, Lazy One Ranch, why don't you go put an ad in Craigslist or someplace saying, I'm wanting a roommate. Of course you need someone to live with you. Human beings were not meant to live alone. You're too isolated. Find another woman, you know, your age, or a woman with a child, and have them come live with you. Anyway, yeah, so Brooks Nichols, go to Amazon.com. You can find my book or your local bookstore. So, Nancy D, tell me what about taking antidepressants frightens you. Maybe, is it the side effects? I mean, I don't really use them for myself because they don't really work. But, yeah, I know they work for some people, and you can minimize the risk by starting in really small doses. Bada bing, I'm scared of the side effects. No, the scientist doesn't really know how it works, but you know, science doesn't know how gravity works either, or how aspirin works. There's a lot of things that science doesn't know, but we still use these things because we know they're helpful. Do you do podcasts? That's an interesting situation. How do you do a podcast? I know that someone has offered to take my videos and turn them into podcasts, but I think, do you have a time for a podcast and then people show up? I guess I'll look it up on the internet. I think you have to have a pretty good following, which I do in a way, but not really. I'm not like a known celebrity. But I can turn my past, I'm going to go, I'll look that up today. Thank you for the reminder. Mostly the side effects, well, the side effects can be minimized. And Nancy, if the side effects are too obnoxious, then just stop them. They're not going to continue afterwards, especially if you start with low doses. You know, at least talk to a nurse practitioner or talk to a psychiatrist and at least get a consultation and see if they think it will help. Just because they recommend them doesn't mean you should take them or will take them, but at least get a consultation, really. I had a consultation for something called electroconvulsive therapy. It's called ECT. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I was severely depressed in 2015, and I had that consultation, and what happened was the woman says, yeah, you're medication resistant, you're depressed, you're hopeless. ECT is good. I said, I'm scared I'm going to lose my memory. She said, I still think you should do it, and 3 months later I did. So, you know, Nancy D, just get a consultation. That's all you need to do. And just get information. You don't have to act on it, but just get someone's knowledge. Aki, I just got your reply to my email. Thanks. I really appreciate taking the time. Thank you. What did you email me? I get so many emails I can't keep track of them. Lazy One Ranch. Antidepressants can be scandy. I wish I'd never started taking Cymbalta. Once on the stuff, you can't stop without getting sick. Prozac, but no, I know people who've come off Cymbalta. You just have to go gradually. Are you under the care of a psychiatrist? Seriously, Lazy One Ranch, you can taper off Cymbalta. Believe me, just go really slow. My partner is mentally very sound. I've been having him watch your videos to help him understand. It's helped our relationship. I remember our partners spending watching them together. Thank you. You're back, Hari, yes. Swiss Heart, that's a very good idea. If you have a partner, have them watch the videos together. Yeah, more views is good for me. Does ECT work? Yeah, it saved my life. It saved my mother's life. It saved a doctor's life, I know. But it's only be taken when you're really, nothing else works. It is way too early for you to take ECT if you've only been depressed for a month. I would ask you about Thomas Dez, but I feel anxious. You can ask me what I think about him. He wrote a book called The Myth of Mental Illness. And that's wrong. Mental illness is not a myth. Have you ever met a paranoid schizophrenic? I have. Have you ever met somebody with psychosis? I have. One of them came to my group. When you see people really crazy, you will know that mental health is not a myth. I'm sorry. I went to one psychologist recently. She said, you need to go on antidepressants, but I wanted to get more than one opinion. Yeah, always get more than one opinion, Nancy D. And there are ways to treat your depression. Do you have my book? Nancy D, Healing from Depression. You really should get it. And if you email me, I haven't even given you my email address. Nancy D, if you email me, I will send you a PDF diagram of all the things I use to treat depression. It's a distillation of what's in this book. So go ahead and send me an email, douglasblock@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you. All right, 46 minutes after, I'm running out of steam. I got about 5 more minutes left. Stoic Inertia, you can try making your books available in Audible form. Yeah, I guess I'd have to go to audible.com, but I don't know. I think that you have to be well known enough to have someone actually do that for you, but not a bad idea. I'll read that book. I'd find no complete evidence for that theory. I'm so far anti-psychiatry. Okay. It's controversial as I study psychiatry, and psychologists are supposed to work closely with psychiatrists. They do. I found no concrete evidence for what theory, Erasmus? So yeah, explain to me, are you for anti-psychiatry or not for it? LOL, I don't know what you're laughing at. Thank you, Nancy D. Yeah. Email me, Nancy D., and I will send you that diagram. Here it is again. douglasblock@gmail.com. And from Ireland, yay, you made it. I missed a comment that mental illness is a myth. What is the context of this? I came across a lot of anti-psychiatry addiction recovery. Needless to say, it's very dangerous. Thank you, N to F. Thumbs up. You're a good person. Anyway, someone asked me about a book, a very famous book called The Myth of Mental Illness by Thomas Zaz. I think it's S-C-A-Z-Z. Anyway, it came out when I was studying psychology 50 years ago. So the person asked me what I thought of the book, and I told him I thought it was not true, that mental illness is not a myth. I've seen too many people with serious illnesses. Hey, tell Thomas Zaz to go hang out and try to do therapy with someone with borderline personality disorder, BPD, and then tell me if mental illness is a myth. So that's, yeah, I agree with you. Anti-psychiatry stuff can be dangerous. I do think that psychiatry does not have the answers. I think they're too beholden to the drug companies. I'm critical of it, but there's a saying, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, nor do you want to keep coughing. I wish one Claire Lou were here. She gave me some wonderful, here they are, Fisherman's Friends from the UK to stop coughing. Ever trusted, I've only experienced one episode of depression. I've been pre-depression for 4 years. Good for you. If you've been recovered for a long time, I might never experience depression again. Well, Harry, I hate to be the pessimist, but I went 19 years without depression, actually 18 years to be exact. And then I fell into another episode. But hey, there are many people out there who have one and only one, so you don't know. But Harry, if you keep doing the things you need to do to take care of yourself, the odds of you having another one will be very, very small indeed. Rather to say, chemical compounds theory and it being influenced by these drugs. I am anti-psychiatry so far. Seems more like a business. Well, you're right, Rasmus. The placebo effect, which I'm going to do a video on, thank you, means that when you have faith and expectancy that something's going to work, your mind can actually influence the body's responses. So the placebo effect is, but why, it's an effect with everything that you do. But there are some cases where drugs actually work on their own. Like right now, I'm on powerful antibiotics. They're not working because of the placebo effect. They're working because these drugs kill bacteria. That's why they work. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's always great to hear from you. By the way, are you I don't want to be a pain in the butt, but are you a patron yet? You seem like you should be, because you really are smart and you care about psychology and mental well-being. You know, the Patreon donations help people all over the world because they allow me to keep this work up, because it's very demanding. I do 3 videos a week, 2 live chats, plus the fact I have to run my website, which gives out free information, which I guess I haven't shown you. I started this in the year 2000, 18 years ago, healingfromdepression.com. I really am very proud of it. And you can go on any time, day or evening. Absolutely free. And there goes that pill, www.healingfromdepression.com. Okay, Doug? There's my website. Feel free to go to it. Does anyone know the studies on 5-HTP or L-tryptophan versus antidepressants? That's an excellent question. Hari, you're full of good questions, and I don't know the answer. Look it up on the internet. End to End says, I remember one guy who was talked into stopping his psychotic medication by someone in AA. Oh my God. The member told him that he would recover if he did the program alone. The member was ignorant. I-G-N-O-R-A-N-T, ignorant. We should go back to the area of drowning witches if we're going to ban psychiatry. And you're great. Thank you, man. Lazy One Ranch, and that person was wrong. A can really help folks, but they're laymen, not professionals. Of course A can help folks. It can help alcoholics. It can't help psychotic people. That's the one it's not designed for. A was designed by 2 drunks, Bill Wilson and Bob Smith, Dr. Bob, and they've done a marvelous job of helping people with addictions, but they never said that A could be used for antipsychotics as to cure psychosis. Now, A is about fellowship, connection, community, so it's good. So anybody should go to AA who wants fellowship and connection. It's a very good organization, but you know, everything has its limitations, everything. I mean, I'm a very good counselor, therapist, writer, educator, but I'm not, I can't really, you know, lasso horses. Anyway, does depression episode get worse the older you get? I don't think so. My episode in 2015 was not as bad as my episode in 1996. I agree the chemical imbalance thing is silly considering 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut. Yep, you're absolutely correct. So again, I don't think that's a really good theory, but I do think I have seen antidepressants help people, and I don't think it's always a placebo effect. And mood stabilizers are absolutely necessary. Have you ever seen someone in mania or bipolar? Yeah. No baseline for neurotransmitter function. Yeah, I don't think so. Patreon is great, especially that YouTube is demonetizing a lot of mental health recovery videos. Rasmus say, are you one of my patrons? That's nice of you to say that. I should go look up to see if you're one of my patrons on my little iPhone here, if I can find it. Yeah, bada bing, you can say mental illness is a myth if you see it in the perspective that you can't separate the mind and body. Oh yeah, I mean, the word mental illness, look, you should call it a brain disorder, bada bing, because the brain affects the mind and the body. I mean, it could be that your mind is warning you that you do your body harm. Well, yeah, I mean, it could be. But if you're doing your body harm, you're going to get sick mostly, right? If you drink a lot of alcohol, you're going to get cirrhosis of the liver, right? So if you smoke, you'll get lung cancer, right? So you do your body harm and bad things happen to your physical health, right? You eat crummy food, you're going to develop diabetes too. But there is something called the brain. It's the most complex thing in the universe, more complex than all the galaxies and solar systems anywhere. It's got 1 trillion connections between nerve cells. Think how complex that is. That's a 1 with 12 zeros after it. You can't even comprehend it. So, the brain is a complex thing. It's very easy for it to get dysregulated. 1 out of every 2 Americans has a mental illness over the course of a lifetime, and 22% in any given year, according to the Surgeon General. So, what does that mean? The brain is a very delicate thing. It can easily get out of balance. So mental illness is not a good term, but I think brain disorder is a good term. Okay, Harry Matrusty, as we go into our last 4 minutes, lithium orotate and nastil, whatever it is 2/3 more efficacious than the mood stabilizer. Do you know a guy called Abram Hoffer? Of course I do. I studied him way before you were born, back in 1969. I'm assuming that you're not 50 years old. Yes, they used to use vitamin B6 and megavitamins to try to treat schizophrenia. Unfortunately, that theory has no hardcore evidence that it works. But lithium orotate is something that many of my clients take, including my supervisor at work, who has mild low-grade depression, and it seems to help him. Lithium does help lift depression and bipolar, especially lithium orotate. In Ashland, Oregon, just down the I-5 highway where they have the famous, world-famous Ashland Shakespeare Festival, there's natural lithium in the water, and the New York Times came out with an article that in places that have lithium, which is simply a salt, in the water, there's less suicide than in other places where it does not. It does offer a protective benefit against mental illness, especially depression and bipolar disorder. So, I'm not at all against lithium orotate. The other thing I'd have to look up, I don't know what it is. You want to study orthomolecular? Great. Abram, the other guy was Hoffer, H-O-F-F-E-R. Let me see where you mentioned that, Harry. Yeah, Abram Hoffer, right. I think there's a second guy who worked with him, but I'm not sure. Tina, hello, doctor. Love your channel and your channel on the blog. Well, thank you. What blog, by the way, are you talking about? Are you talking about the blog on my Healing from Depression site? Lithium carbonate is dangerous. So many suicides are result of lithium orotate. Well, lithium orotate is much more. The problem with lithium carbonate is you can get toxic in your body and it can cause kidney failure. I think it prevents more, deaths than it causes. But lithium orotate is a much milder drug. Forever Freak, Marissa, you made it with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Oh, thank you. I should start putting more things on the blog. I didn't even know you went to my website. Cool. I need to go ahead and put some more stuff up there. Anyway, nice to see you. Noah's doing a lot better, right? Have you seen any of his videos? He seems to have hit bottom. So good for him. Yeah, binge alcoholism is a very nasty thing. I've seen videos on niacin curing schizophrenia from Abram Hoffer. I'm tending to believe it since he treated. Yeah. That's what they believe, niacin for schizophrenia. Hey, look, Harry, in 1970, when was it? 1977, I went to a farm outside of Eugene, Oregon in a town called Cresswell, where Isabel Mosier, a very, very smart woman, went ahead and set up a ranch. She studied with Hoffer. She was a nurse where people could come down and live at this ranch, and they could go on orthomolecular psychiatry stuff, I think vitamin B3 is niacin. Anyway, another megadoses of vitamins, and she told me that, a lot of people were still wandering around crazy. It worked, but, not all of the time. And I don't know, she didn't give me numbers, but there were clearly people it did not work for. Yes, his videos are looking pretty good. I'm glad he's doing better. Yes. Tina, doctor, I'm on antidepressant for life. For anxiety, is it true that over time? No. How can you be on an antidepressant for life for anxiety? It doesn't make any sense. Are you on Paxil or something? And why is it for life? Have you tried decreasing it when you felt less anxious? Have you tried going to... Okay, so here's the last thing I'm going to say since I only have 50 seconds left. Tina, I want you to go to this video, and this will give you an overview of how to treat anxiety holistically. Okay, my video is called How to Go check this video out. This will help you with anxiety. And, I'm not your doctor. You got to talk to him. But whatever you're doing, whether you're on drugs or not, this will help you. I just heard this person at bottom. If this person is a question already, had a massively suicidal and recovered from it, it can be as bad now. He should be thankful. And I'm not quite sure who you're talking about, Enda, but yeah, anybody who's alive and has depression should be thankful. Thank you. I will. Yeah, check that out, Tina. You'll like it. And again, One more little pitch. I don't know if Harry is a patron. Well, I have suffered. I have made it through this. It's back to bed right now to rest my leg before I see the doctor. Yes, you're welcome. So, my final thing. Someone asked me, made a comment on YouTube, "Sir, what are your credentials?" I guess the person was skeptical of me, so I said, 1, I have a BA in psychology from New York University, prestigious school. Number 2, I have a master's degree in counseling from the University of Oregon. And number 3, I have a PhD in suffering from the School of Hard Knocks. And I guarantee you the PhD is the most valuable of the 3 degrees, the PhD in suffering. What do you guys think? Harry, the guy was like 13 psychotropics, incredibly suicidal, and he had a family and everyone, you know. I don't know who you're referring to, but 13 psychotropics is, yeah, he was over-medicated, whoever he was. So, a final joke for the road. Oh, I'll take one from this. Here we go. Yeah, we need to put this in a different place. Okay, no problem. And here's my final joke. I always like to wear turtlenecks, but for one, today I was trying to find my camouflage shirt. The only problem was I couldn't find it. And, you know, I love to read. I'm reading an anti-gravity book, a book, you know, a science book on anti-gravity, and it's such a good book I can't put it down. So that wraps up another live chat. See you guys on Sunday. Wish me well. I'm going to an acupuncturist to get herbs. I'm going to a medical doctor, and I'm doing a lot of praying. Do not ever get cellulitis. If you do, get immediately to a physician. What the elf North Palace said again? Well, okay. Why was Santa's helper depressed? He has low self-esteem. All right. Thank you so much for your videos. I watch a few of them every morning. I wake up with anxiety. Well, good. I'm glad they're helping. Go to meet, find a roommate, Lazy One Ranch. Be a patron, but more importantly, find a roommate. I love your little icons, Tina. Ikik M, thank you for the joke. Thanks, Douglas, for your great videos. Rasmus, I believe there's a symptom. All right, yes, it can be a symptom of trauma. In that case, yeah. Nice work. LOL, good luck. I'll let you know about my cellulitis. I could put the camera on my leg, but it'd be way too gross. You guys are depressed enough. May God be with me and also with you, as we say in the Catholic liturgy. Yeah, liturgy. Oh, by the way, how do you make holy water for you Catholics? You just boil the hell out of it. All right, so go ahead and keep talking to each other. This live chat window will be on for the next 10 minutes. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Adios.